For referendum to
Right.
have the vote on whether to transfer the Arabs out of Israel. Do you believe that would pass?
Do I what? Who would pass?
That would pass.
Oh, you had better believe it. I think that people don't have the slightest idea of how much silent support that Kach has. And not only there are untold numbers of closet supporters who every morning walk into that closet, close the door, say Kahane is right, then fix their tie, and then walk out straight again. Inside Israel, you have enormous numbers of people who walk over to me and say, "Atat tzodek, you're right." These people think what I say. Just give them an opportunity to vote on that, and you'll be stunned. You'll be stunned. Bear in mind that the Sephardic Jews in Israel today make up 60% of the Jews. And that's a good figure.
What would you do if the government just stops you? That's the problem.
If what? If the government what?
The government will stop you. The government will not allow it.
If the government won't allow it, then I think that Jews should sit down in the streets and not move. You can't arrest 10,000 people. The government, what the people are asking here is simply the right to express their views. And if they lose it, then they lose the referendum. So they lose it. That's called real democracy, which we have to. One of the reasons why I also want to see a lot of Western Jews in Israel, because the Western Jew brings over values, Western values of fair play and democracy, which Israel sorely needs. Yes. Yeah.
Rabbi, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you in Boston.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be in Boston.
We all recently read that in the United Nations, every year, the PLO and the Arab states try and have a negative vote against Israel. And for the first time this year, we see many of the Eastern Bloc countries in the Soviet Union not siding with them, but siding with Israel,
Right.
or not voting at all.
Right.
What's your opinion on that? What's happening in the world?
I don't know. I don't know really. I mean, I think it's amazing things. Amazing things are happening in Eastern Europe. Amazing things. But if I were Lloyd's of London, I wouldn't insure Gorbachev's life. I think that the Soviet Union is falling apart because the changes that he mostly rightly calls for are so profound and overwhelming that the benefits will not be seen for years. And in the meantime, it's falling apart. I'm not so sure that the hardcore communist and the officer corps will stand for that, especially when the most burning issue of the nationalities, if Latvia and Lithuania and the Ukraine and the Asian republics, if they start to, if there's real violence there, the empire stands to collapse, and they won't allow that. They won't allow that. And if there's a reaction, and he goes, don't fool yourself. I've heard people say Stalinism can never come back to Russia. That's not true. That's not true. It can be there, like that. So I'm delighted at what's happening. I don't really grasp it yet. It's too amazing. And I don't know what will be tomorrow. So I'm very, very happy. But I would not like to see a détente between America and Russia go to the extent that they will both get together to pressure Israel. So so let's look at it, and as they say in the Talmud, respect him and suspect him. Kabdeu v'chashdeu. Yes.
I'd like to say something as a quick follow-up. Very recently, an interesting thing happened to me where a Lebanese Christian at a gas station I was at saw me wearing a yarmulke and said to me, you're a Jew, obviously, and I said, yes, expecting some type of comment or anti-Semitic remark. What I got from him was, when is your army going to go in and take over our country to stop the fighting?
You're right. You're right. Well, our army went in, and if Reagan wouldn't have stopped Begin 4 more days, it would have been over. It would have been over. One of the many tragedies of Begin was that he gave in. What would have happened if Begin would have said no? What would have happened? Nothing would have happened if he would have gotten sick for 4 days. And Sharon would have cleaned up the city, finished, and wiped physically, gotten George Habash and Arafat and Fawatma. What a pleasure. And not only that, but 241 Marines would be alive today, among other things. I want to get somebody that hasn't spoken yet. This is a quiet side over here. Hey, I understand, but other people want to have heard. Yes.
I heard in the Jerry Williams show today.
The Jerry Williams, yes.
Right. I heard you speaking about you were forced to give up your visa.
What the?
You were forced to give up your visa.
Yeah. My.
To the United States in order to become run for the Knesset.
Right.
Once the first question is what the chances are you get it back, and the second one is if you do, how will you plan to run again and have the visa at the same time as possible?
All right. A good question. Let me give you the facts, because Jerry Williams, it's amazing how God, unbelievable. People are at the mercy of these people. Okay. The facts are as follows. Israel for 38 years allowed Knesset members to be dual citizens. Golda Meir was the prime minister and died as a dual citizen. For 12 years, Moshe Aaron sat in Knesset as a dual citizen, and there were many, many others. And then I came into Knesset. So the Knesset passed a law stating that for the 1988 elections, a person could only be a citizen of Israel, would have to give up his other citizenship unless the other government refused to accept his waiver of citizenship. So I came to the U.S. consulate and I said, look, this is a Kahane bill aimed at me. I know that if I lose it, you'll never give me a visa, right? They said, right. So I said, so therefore, I don't want to lose it. If you promise me that I'll have a visa, I give it up without any problems. Okay? They said, no, the whole point is that you shouldn't have a visa. I must say, they were extremely open. I like people that are open. I really mean it. So I said, sorry, look, I have to do it, but I'm letting you now know that it is under duress. I don't want to do it. I'm being forced to do it, and I expect you, under the terms of this law, not to accept it. So naturally they accepted it. But I also said, it is conditioned on my being able to run in the election. If I don't run in the election, obviously, I'm not giving it up, because I already knew what the Israeli government was planning. First of all, to get me to give up the citizenship, and then ban me from running, which they did. In the moment that I was banned, I cabled the state department saying the condition has not been met, therefore I have not given it up. So they wrote me back saying, you have. Because I haven't. You have. It's in the courts today. It's in Washington, in federal district court in Washington. The only problem is that the judge, who was my judge in the case, is the judge who sentenced Pollard to life imprisonment. And I tell you, listen, when God wants to save someone, he first really puts them in boiling oil. Now, in any case, I'm going to win the case. I'm going to win the case. I have a good lawyer and so on. Your second question is, well, if you do win it, and then you do run again, you'll have to give it up again. I may have to at that point, but it'll be worth it to be prime minister, and maybe they'll let me in as prime minister. I don't know, because if they don't, then I'm not going to let George Bush in. Yeah.
What's the reason you didn't want, after you give up your citizenship, you didn't want to become part of the nation? What's the reason for? What's the reason? Of not letting you run after you give up your citizenship?
Oh, because that's what they wanted me. They wanted to have it both ways. They were out to get me both not to run and also to lose access to a visa.
How did they justify it?
They don't have to justify anything. Israel does not have a constitution. Israel does not have a Bill of Rights. Israel can pass laws tomorrow saying that every third person has to jump 5 feet every single day. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. They don't have to justify anything. You're speaking like an American. An American.
Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
quick question.
Steve.
We're treated every day to the horrors of the 4 Arabs being shot. When are you going to get someone to send the pictures of what they do to ours when they kill them and flay them and gouge their eyes out? It's one thing I see an Arab shot with a bullet, fine. No one gets to see over here what they do to ours when they kill them. And it's not just with a bullet.
But what do you think?
They're tortured, they're cut to pieces, not killed first. When are those pictures going to come here so the news media, or at least we can go put them in the shoulder and say, hey, feel sorry for the Arab, be liberal, and cry for this guy too. He died a hell of a lot worse death.
Wait a second. What in the world makes you think that ABC, which has its staff there, or CBS...
Get them to us so we can go put them out on the shows. Let at least somebody look. Get those pictures, as gruesome as they are.
Okay, maybe you're right.
You know, I was there.
Okay.
They said that, the Arab killed the construction worker with him, and they found him in a pipe. No mention in Israel of what you told me, of what they flayed and gouged and cut from him. I read that before they found him, and the guy was proud of it.
Yes.
Wonderful. If they had told the rest of the story, that would make you vomit. That's what you need over here.
Okay. Okay, Steve, you're right. You're right. Okay. Okay, but they are gruesome pictures.
Where can we get them? Kahane will get it.
I'll get them through, Kach here, and then you'll get it from Kach. But
Stay in touch with us.
I mean, they're really gruesome pictures. I mean, I think that people don't realize the extent of the brutality. I'll just tell you one quick story about it, which just happened recently.
2.5 weeks ago.
After the bus 405 tragedy, a second effort was made to add a second bus. But this time the Arab was stopped after he stabbed the driver, but he was stopped and the bus did not go over the cliff. He was taken for questioning, and on his own he suddenly blurted out that he had murdered a Jew in Tel Aviv. And it was true. He was a construction worker, and the Jew had also worked with him as a construction worker. They had lived for months together on the site. They ate together. They slept everything together, buddies. One night he hit the Jew over the head, tied him up, and he peeled the skin off of his face. And he gouged the eyes out. Now, it's hard to imagine. We who sit here and we're good people. I mean, the Americans are good people. The West are decent people. It's hard to imagine this kind of a thing. And everybody thinks, well, we'll sit down with coffee and cake and work things out. The Middle East is not the Middle West. It's not Middlesex. It's the Middle East with a different mentality, a different culture, different values, different horrors. And you think that we can easily work out a peace with this kind of thing? Last year, an Arab walked into a police station in Nazareth carrying his sister's head. He had killed his sister because she had dishonored the family, chopped the head off and brought it in. Now, you have to realize that it is a different world. And because someone is nice, he thinks everybody else is also nice. That's not necessarily true. So know that. Okay, yeah. I'll go from side to side. Yes, sir.
Would you be happy if Arik Sharon would be prime minister?
No. Why in the world would I be happy with Arik Sharon when he was the man who, as Minister of Defense, supervised the tearing down of Yamit, the dragging out of Jews, voted for Camp David, received a phone call on Saturday night from Begin in New York saying we're about to sign it.